I was just saying, they don't teach you this in law school. It's a strange situation. Breaking news at noon. Within the last hour, we have learned the name of the man shot by his neighbor on Pine Island in the town of Bokeelia.
That's right. Deputies are telling us that person's name, Theodore Hubbell Jr. Evidently, they say that it was his body placed in the back of a truck that was then taken to an attorney's office in downtown Fort Myers yesterday. Now, NBC2 has been on top of this story since it first broke. We're told the man who confessed to killing Hubbell, John Marshall, got into a fight with him. The fight got out of hand. Marshall's attorney says that he was pistol whipped and beaten. Marshall's attorney says his client shot the other man, Hubbell, in self-defense.
NBC2's Holly Hojek is at the shooting crime scene in Bokeelia just off of Hodges Drive. She brings us the latest in this investigation.
Chad, I was just told by detectives they will be out here for several more hours searching for evidence in this crime scene. The K-9 units were out here within just the last hour as well, searching for clues. What we're hearing from neighbors this morning is that they had a feeling, they sensed something like this would happen between their two neighbors. We've been covering this since yesterday, and what we've learned was 2 days prior to this deadly shooting, John Marshall filed a restraining order against his neighbor, who we just learned was Mr. Hubbell Jr. Now, the attorney, Robert Harris, said his client, John Marshall, showed up to his law office in Fort Myers with a body, now confirmed by FMPD, that is Mr. Hubbell, in the back of his truck. Marshall told his attorney his neighbor came over to apologize. They apparently had a fight earlier in the week over property. He told his attorney the neighbor pulled out a gun, the two fought, and Marshall was the one who pulled the trigger and killed his neighbor, Mr. Hubbell Jr. He told his attorney it was self-defense. Neighbors say that's a lie.
I had in self-defense, had to shoot somebody or kill somebody in my home or near my home, what would I do? Drag the body into my vehicle and take it to a lawyer? I would be calling 911, and that's what you do. Any sane person would.
And what better excuse is than to call a restraining order on the peaceful party so that you can execute them later and blame it on them.
Marshall was questioned by detectives for several hours at the law offices last night. He ended up leaving, covering his face with his wife and daughter. They headed to the hospital. He was since released. Now, Marshall was not charged or arrested. We're unsure if he will face any charges at this point. Like you mentioned, within just the last few minutes, we were able to confirm the victim, the neighbor in this case, was Theodore Hubbell Jr. out here in Bokeelia. You can count on us to bring you the latest first at 4 in this crime scene investigation. Reporting live in Bokeelia, Holly Hojek, NBC2.